What's up, gamer fans? Well, you could put the Wii remotes down just for this one review, because this is my very first old versus new. Okay, now I know what you're thinking, I know what you have on mind right away. The Nostalgia Critic, right? Yes, all credit goes to the Nostalgia Critic on this one, and all these videos that I'll be doing from now on. He does it on movies. I am doing it on video games. Well, okay, I might do it on movies, but no. I'm mainly sticking to video games with a video game remake versus its old original counterpart, which it originated from. So, let's start out with the classic Mario 64, which is Mario 64 DS on the Nintendo DS versus its old counterpart Mario 64 on the N64. So let's take a look. Deeper details. Which one is better? Mario 64 DS or Mario 64 on the N64? We'll start out with the graphics. Both games have great graphics. Mario 64 first came out in 1996 for the N64. It was one of the first games that most people had when they first bought the N64 when it first came out. The graphics were awesome, it was one of the greatest first 3D Mario games, and it looked awesome for its time. But nowadays, it looks like a bunch of polygons compared to what we have today. I mean, with Super Mario Galaxy, obviously over the years they improved the graphics a lot better. Like with this one. Let's take a look at this one, Mario 64 DS. Oh yeah, now that's what you call graphics. And for a handheld console, you have to admit, that looks pretty damn awesome. I mean, with the N64 version, don't get me wrong, it looks pretty cool for the time being, but now with, I mean, the big nose and everything, and even Bowser, the way he walks, I mean, he looks like a wind-up doll that you see out of a toy or something, like one of those things that has the wind-up. It looks rather silly, but still, for 1996, it was pretty good, but nowadays, I'm sorry, it looks silly. But for this one, let's check it out. Oh yeah, now that's Bowser right there. It looks so much like the Wii version almost. I mean, damn, for a handheld console with 2 screens, double the fun, it looks pretty cool. Well, I'm sorry to say it, N64, but it looks so aged and old. Point goes to the Nintendo DS version. Now let's take a look at the controls. Yeah, the controls is obviously another important aspect of a video game, being able to play it. Well, okay, all credit goes to the AVGN on that one. Well, the controls on the N64 were pretty damn good. This was one of the best N64 games, with the camera angling, the controls, being able to walk around, change your camera view, it was pretty cool. But the Nintendo DS version, being that you didn't have an analog stick, in fact this console doesn't, well, the controls just feel a little loose. Walking around, you end up walking off platforms sometimes. Having to use a D-pad can get a little furious at some points. It's not really that bad, but compared to the N64 version, it just doesn't feel tight enough. But still, the camera works pretty well. It takes a lot of getting used to, that's all. But I'm sorry to say it, but, well, the N64 version gets the point right there. Now let's talk about the overall sound. Well, this was a really tough one. But being that both games had great sound effects, both games, well, they worked pretty well. I mean, this was a really tough decision, and, well, I can't say I'm going to give any points to both games, but I hate to do this, but, well, they all have great music. I did say Mario Galaxy has great music, but this game, well, their music is just as epic. In fact, it's recycled in Mario Galaxy, and it's pretty epic. Well, can't decide, so point goes to both, being fair. And now let's talk about the overall gameplay, the most important aspect. The gameplay on Mario 64 for the N64 was pretty cool. The only problem is you only get one character, and that's Mario, which wasn't bad. In Mario 64 DS, you start out with Yoshi, which can be kind of a little bit confounded at first, being that you have to unlock Mario, then Luigi, and then Wario. There's definitely a lot more to do, and so each character actually comes in handy at some points. Like for the long jump, it's better to use Yoshi. And every character has their purpose. Mario can grow into a giant, have the hot air balloon, and even the wings. With Luigi, he can go through the cage, and with Wario, well, he can stomp on things that not every other character can do, like the ice, or even punch things that are really solid rock. So, I mean, it shows off the character's personality pretty well. With Mario 64 and the N64, you had to admit they tried their best, but it just seems like it's a lot for Mario to really do. And for the N64 version, you only have to get 70 stars, being that it's a little bit harder to get all those stars. With the DS version, you have to get 80, but there's still a lot more to do in the DS version, so it's fair to say, well, I'm sorry, N64 version, but the DS version wins by far on that one. Just by a little bit, not far, I'm sorry to say. Because being able to travel with this game, bring it on road trips, it's a blast. You can't bring an N64 on a road trip and play it in the car, on a bus, or on a plane. Sorry to say, the remake wins, but not by much. The N64 version is still a classic, but still, I like bringing this puppy on the road. Praise Mario 64, one of the best. And that's my old versus new on Mario 64 versus Mario 64 DS. Till next time, happy gaming.